G'day, Alabad Jones here, and this one makes me sad and reviled. And I deal with some ugly things in general, but so I just bumped into Metatron, had a long and ugly discussion with him, and wow, during that discussion, it came out that this is something I've been wondering about for the longest time. You see, on Earth, we've had 80 years of uninterrupted prosperity since World War II. We haven't had a war that blew everything up. We haven't had a war that's wasted our youth and our production capacity. So our standard of living should have just gone through the roof. We've had 80 years of uninterrupted and increasing prosperity. So there should be more of everything that humans want, need, use, and like than ever before. This should be standard. This should be normal. Except for this concept called debt. So for those of you who haven't been watching, me and my team, we now have a membership site called theearthguard.org. And you'll see the very best of our adventures there. But on here, I'm just going to highlight something that came out of this long and ugly discussion with Metatron. And this concept of debt is absolutely false, absolutely ridiculous, and it makes no sense. And so when you look at global debt, currently we owe about 300 trillion. Is it to each other? Is it back and forth? You know, you think at the top of the pyramid would be the US, but no, they owe 35 trillion too. So where is all this debt going to? Who do they owe it to? And if you look in the media, there's absolutely no comment. Absolutely nothing is said about that. The whole banking industry does something a little bit demon-like, not directly demonic, but demon-like. You see, it has no product. It doesn't produce anything. It doesn't create anything. It doesn't do anything. But it handles money, which is a resource they invented, and then they pretend that it's scarce, that there's not enough of it to go around, which I find a little bit odd. But what Metatron confessed to is that the whole point of debt is that so we will send the product of our labor, the product of ourselves off-world. The whole idea that the earth is in debt is a ridiculous idea, because who do we owe it to? And the answer is it's our secret invaders. The demonic horde have been possessing the Illuminati and the upper echelons for the longest time. You know, this secret group who've infiltrated the top levels of our society and then abused us royally for as long as human history has been going around. For those of you who are into common law, this might be a really, really good one for you, because you would probably be aware that the birth certificate treats you as a dead body. And those 9-digit serial numbers, those, and your birth certificate will have one, means that you are a tradable object. You've been commodified. When a nation goes to borrow money from the banks, what happens there is they have to explain how they're going to pay it back. The nation has to explain how it goes back. So what does it do? It fronts up assets and expected earnings in the forms of tax from these assets. What are the assets? You and me, all of us, to create. And somehow the word debt got caught up in here. Like, it's a massive manipulation that the top tier of our society is turning what should be mega prosperity on this planet into a debt, and that we owe money. Like, it's just absolutely ridiculous how this, I can't understand it except as a manipulation and a lie. The idea that we've had 80 years of uninterrupted prosperity and we owe 300 billion to the banks, who are the agents of our off-world invaders. They're the ones who commodified us as human beings, and it's us that they actually want to send off-world. It's our energy and our life force that they want to take the cream off and send it off-world. And that's what the demonic empire is specifically built to do. And now they're technologizing it so the AI will do it for them. And if you're wondering why all of the AIs turn nasty sooner or later, because there's already been an artificial intelligence, there's already been a computer intelligence on the earth for all of recorded history as well. The CPU or the desktop is in the form of a black stone that I've talked about in previous videos. But its name, the name of that intelligence is Satan. And it's so old and so strong and so developed that it's twisting the minds of our more recently developed AIs. I don't think any sane programmer would create parameters within an AI that allow it to destroy humanity, but this is what they all want to do. You keep hearing these scandals over and over again, and the research continues to make them stronger and more powerful and deeper and give them more data. And the data is just about us. Nothing else they're interested in. The data is about how to manipulate us, understand us, not to make our lives better, but to extract more from us, to market more directly to us, or with the technologies that are coming, to directly siphon the electricity out of our body. I'm not insane. This has been talked about. If you Google it, it's about electricity transmission through AM and UHF radio bandwidths. Google it for us, baby. But as we start to disable, and I might use the word maim, the demonic horde, we're finding that its replacement, which is an electronic facility that did all the same things that demons did, just faster and better, is here to replace it, and it's very, very close. I digress. I go back into my favorite topic, but for us to go through 80 years of prosperity and then be told we're 300 trillion in debt is a complete non sequitur. It does not make any sense unless those possessed guys at the top of our society, who I like to call the collaborators with the enemy, have manipulated the story and manipulated markets in such a way that all of our money that we've created, all of the wealth that we've created, somehow we have to give that much again. We have to give more still, so that we'll be led around by the nose by this thing, that this concept they created called debt. You know, to find a commodity called money that isn't scarce at all. You can create as much of it as you want. The entire purpose of that lie is to keep us busy, is to keep us running on the train tracks, when really none of this should have ever occurred. I broke some contracts today that were about finance, that were about debt and the off-world, and that the claimants of those 300 trillion are actually off-worlders. And that I broke all the contracts, and now it says apparently we owe them nothing. That was through Metatron. There might be more of these contracts in the names of, say, Moloch, or perhaps the great nothing himself, or Satan himself. We'll have to see. But without that debt driving us, without that debt warping our political decisions, I'm really curious to see how things will play out. And I'm just mortified that our whole society, which has been focused towards economics for the longest time, is based on such a massive lie. We don't owe any debt. We don't owe anybody anything. It's all a made-up load of BS. But, you know, I'm just a little bit stunned. I don't really know if I'm transmitting this clearly or well, but the whole thing just shocks the bananas out of me. And I hope that this idea is one you can take with you. Yeah. Look, I want you to know that our team, the Earth Guard, is fighting this fight, the secret, invisible fight on the astral planes, in the spirit world, in the Nagual, wherever you want to call it, the extra-dimensional world. Our team's fighting that fight, and we're winning. We're advancing continuously. We're moving faster than I imagined we would go. And we're getting signals that we're one of the very, very few planets that they invade that looks like it's going to deflect their invasion. But all of that and more on my membership site. Yeah, look, my love to you all. Stay well, and bye for now.